Hello everyone, I'm Zahid from Talks at Innovation Valley, and today we have very amazing guest with us, Professor Dr. Peter Palensky, uh, head of the Electric Sustainable Energy Department at Delft University of Technology. Innovation Valley podcast is very honored that today we have Mr. Professor Peter with us. And let me tell you that Professor Peter has been awarded with a very prestigious award that would let you know. Just let me tell you a little bit introduction of Professor. Delft University of Technology is consistently ranked as one of the top universities in the world. Professor Peter is a leader in electrical engineering, mathematics, computer science. As the head of Electrical Sustainable Energy Department, his expertise spans the spectrum of energy transition, energy decarbonization, electrical vehicles, and everything related to electrification. His exceptional contributions were honored with the prestigious Hidde Nijl Award. So, first of all, I'm really thankful to you, Peter, for joining the show, and really warm welcome.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for inviting me.
You're welcome. Peter, first of all, before we jump to the questions list, I would announce the topic of today's podcast: exploring the future of digital energy, innovations, and emerging technologies in the energy sector. So, before we jump to the questions list, I would request you to little bit tell your life story, including your professional journey. I mean, from where you got your education, when you decided to um, do the work for this sector, especially energy sector, and especially when you decided to go into the digital energy side. What is your inspirational story? We want our audience to get inspired by your story.
Well, the topic itself that drives me is really um, keeping this planet livable. That always drove me, and um, the education that I followed was engineering. Could also have been law, then I would do something in that direction for the same cause. Yeah, but as an engineer, there's lots of impact that you can have by understanding the problems, fixing them, improving things. And I'm an electrical engineer, so working with renewable energy was, of course, the most natural thing to do if you have these kind of values. So I moved in this direction. So I studied in Vienna. I'm originally from Austria. And after that, I was moving around the world. So I was working in, I think, all continents on this planet in different countries and in industry and in academia. And in the end, I ended up here in the Netherlands at the Technical University of Delft, where I'm heading a department that is called Electrical Sustainable Energy. And that is a fantastic ecosystem of smart people, lots of professors. I'm not the only one. We are an entire team here working on accelerating the energy transition. So this is the motto that we have, and this usually boils down to more renewable energy. Why renewable energy? Because it's green. No? It's basically free. If you think of sun and wind, it's local. You don't depend on other countries to import fuel. So it has lots of positive impact, also societal. It's very inclusive. The sun also shines on the roof of the poor man. So renewable energy has lots of excellent and promising uh, uh, features, but there are technical challenges. So it doesn't happen by itself. There are quite some things to fix and improve, because we're changing the DNA of the power system. The last 130 years was always the same, synchronous generators and certain growth and topologies. Now we change it completely. This is basically, I don't know, a bypass operation during a marathon. So you're changing the heart of a system while it's in use 24/7. And this is really, or a pacemaker actually. We are going for a digital energy system, so that is more resilient, that is more flexible, because these renewable energy sources, they are a different animal. They're not the power station that you switch on and it runs day and night. They are different, and they require a different, more flexible and agile system. And that's what we are trying to facilitate in my department with many researchers on certain fields that we are combining.
All right. So, Peter, you know that digitalization is on boom. I mean, every sector is getting digitalized, and
Yeah.
digital transformation is, need of the hour. I guess the world is already late in certain regions and in certain things. So, can you please define what is digital energy?
Well, the power of the digital transformation, and we see this in other sectors that are a bit ahead compared to the energy sector. The power or the magic of the digital transformation is that it removes barriers, yeah, between functions, between institutions, between people. And the effect in the energy transition is things that were separated in the past, such as transmission, distribution, or heat and gas and electricity, or transport, built environment and energy and markets. These things that are separate entities, or were separate, isolated entities, can now be combined. So they were separated for historical reasons, and now we get the power of bringing that together. So this unlocks lots of synergies in efficiency, in resiliency, in flexibility, things that we need for renewable energy. The second thing is that the digital transformation also gives power to the people. Yeah, it scales very well. Yeah? The elements of the digital transformation are usually platforms such as the cloud or blockchain, or tools, gadgets like phones and computers and so forth. So these are the elements, but the real thing, the real transformation is a societal one. Everybody gets the chance to participate. Yeah? In the past, only big and powerful companies can produce energy, store it, sell it, trade it. In the future, everybody can do that. You and me, everybody, also our neighbors. You can hook up your car, your electric car, your photovoltaic panel, your smart heat pump, whatever you have, because of the power of the digital transformation. It can join an ecosystem, a digital market, where you can sell something, flexibility, or you can trade with your neighbors and so forth. So this is a very inclusive feature, and that was missing in the energy sector. It was dominated by top-down, centralized thinking and institutions, and the digital transformation has the power to change that. And the digital energy concept is all of that. Yeah? You have more smart assets, smart substations, smart generation, storage, loads, but also the people are in the loop. Yeah? And it's now in our hands to make that transformation a green one and a just one and a fair one, so that everybody has benefits from it.
All right. So, Peter, in digital transformation of the energy sector, the energy would be managed, and data would be shared in real time from between the suppliers and the consumers. I'm putting a very crazy and strange question. Just like we are using internet now wirelessly, is it possible that energy could be used wirelessly?
um, well, for charging your phone, your toothbrush, and your car in a couple of years, yes. But on long distance, no. You need cables, you need power lines. We will maybe transport half of our electricity also via pipelines in form of hydrogen or synthetic methane. because this has more capacity than cables. But wireless, unfortunately, no. this this will not work.
All right. Just on the sideline, because one day I was just reading some research stuff on the quantum computing, and I was studying that the photons can be, traveled, and they could transfer the energy. But I guess maybe in the future that would be possible after maybe 100 years. I don't know.
That's an awesome
Anyway,
idea to use quantum entanglement for energy transmission. I've never heard
yeah,
that
quantum
before, but
entanglement.
I'll follow up on that.
Yeah, that's right. That exactly, quantum entanglement. Yeah, I was studying the quantum entanglement, that energy could be transferred through that quantum entanglement. Yes.
It's information that is transferred, and the energy.
Yeah, I'm really curious about the future. It's going crazy. Okay, so Peter, can you please define what is intelligent electrical power grid and cyber physical energy system, and what would be its role in the energy sector?
Yeah. Um, Intelligent grids is like an intelligent road. If you have a non-intelligent road, you would have no traffic lights and no signs even, yeah, and no navigation system, and everybody would drive somehow. You wouldn't have rules, yeah, not even driving on the, in your case, left side, or in my side case, the right side. So there are no rules, but it would kind of work. Yeah? With a smart system, you would have dynamic speed limits. So if somewhere is an accident, you would already a few kilometers before slow down people and move them to the left side, or whatever is required. So the infrastructure, the roads, would be in coexistence with the medium, which is the cars, and the application, which is transport, from getting from A to B with peoples and goods. Yeah? So this combination and this cooperation between infrastructure and the application is done with intelligence. And with electric grids, it's the same thing. In the past, it was passive copper cables and lines. They were just there, and energy was flowing according to physical rules. You feed in something, and depending on the voltage levels and rotor angles and other physical details, energy would flow in a certain direction. Now we slowly get tools in our hands, which includes high voltage components and all kinds of fancy things, power electronics, that enable us to push energy around, to store it, to overcome physics. We have now the exciting time where we are not bound by these physical rules anymore. We can do much more. And this requires smartness. You need more data, sensors, analytics. You need more insight. You need to know what happens. In the past, most grids were operated blindly. They were just buried in the ground, and they did their job. Yeah? And there was not much observability of the state of the grid. This is now changing with intelligent grids. Why do we need that? Because the renewables. So this is the starting point. We want to integrate more wind and solar, and they require a flexible grid, because they are dynamic, they are fast, they are a different beast, as I said in the beginning, a different animal, and that's why you have to catch up with the grid. The grid cannot stay old while the renewable generation is something new. So we have to catch up with that. So all the substations, all the cables, all the switchgear, all the protection equipment needs to be smarter. For the renewable energy, we need more flexibility, we need faster reactions, and in the end, by mixing this physical part, which is all the electromagnetics, electrodynamics that we had before, with the new things, which is digital. There is switching, there is little boxes in the grid that make decisions, that talk to each other. It's all this digital magic. If you combine that, you get a cyber physical entity. We know cyber physical systems from other domains, from the medical domain, for instance. But in the energy system, it's kind of a new thing. We need new methods. We need new tools. We need a new education stream. Here in the university, we have to educate our students now in totally different things than 20 years ago. Yeah, they need to know about digital controllers, communication protocols, swarm intelligence, and machine learning as an electrical engineer, because the new power system uses all that. And that's a cyber physical energy system.
Exactly, I agree to you that definitely to to bring value innovation to not just the energy sector but in any sector, the academia has to upskill, reskill, and give the new knowledge and techniques to the students. Of course, I agree. So, Peter, can you specifically brief that in context of sustainability and energy efficiency, what would be the role of intelligent electrical power grid? How it would add value?
Well, it unlocks the renewables. That's the main value. Of course, it has many other advantages, economic advantages. You can operate the system closer to its limits. Yeah, you can squeeze out a few percent of operational margin and flexibility with that. It's similar to a car. Yeah? If you have an old car that consumes 10 liters on 100 kilometers of gasoline, that's a physical system. The moment you add digital controllers and sensors and a little board computer and other tricks, you get down the consumption, drastically, down to 6 liters, 5 liters. This is only possible with digital technology. It's not possible with a traditional combustion engine with normal mechanical engineering. Does not work. The same with safety. If you want to make a car or an airplane safe, you need all these sensors. You need all kinds of supporting systems that react fast, that do the right thing to protect people's lives. So that's the added value of digital technology. And in a power system, it's, as I said, the main motivation that we see, or at least that I see, is that it enables the introduction of more renewables. You can always connect 10, 20% of renewables to an existing old-fashioned power system. That's fine. It can survive and swallow that. But if it's more than 50, then we get into serious phenomena that are not manageable anymore without digital help. Yeah? We need fast reactions. We need controls, distributed decisions, and that's a classical domain of digital technology.
All right. So, Peter, what are some of the most exciting innovations and emerging technologies in the energy sector that you are currently researching or closely following?
All of that is exciting. Um, well, in my department, we have a few really cool things. One of them is photovoltaics. We are really exploring new types of solar cells, multi-junction, perovskite, even smart ones. We call it photovoltaics, where the cells talk to each other. They are self-reconfiguring. This is really an exciting thing, and it will bring the technology of photovoltaic generation to every surface that we have. So every facade, every roof, maybe even roads, and these things might generate electricity, and you might not even know it because it's invisible. The textures will not tell you. So this is something that I really love. Because we get so much solar energy from the sun, it's just breathtaking. It's just 1,000 times more than we would ever need. We just have to pick it up somehow. Another really exciting thing that I see, especially in my department, there's dozens of people working with that and on that, is artificial intelligence and machine learning for the energy sector. It's used in every aspect you can imagine, in the design of machines, for instance, how to optimize a machine design, or in algorithms, how to control and run the systems, how to identify problems, and how to learn. So this is really an incredibly powerful tool that was just falling from the sky in the last 5 years from the mathematics departments of this world, and we gladly pick it up and use it for our systems because it's very, very powerful, and we are very happy with it. Another topic that we are working on is resiliency. Resiliency means you are able to withstand and survive a certain shock. This shock can be a broken component or a natural disaster or a cyber attack. So if your system is damaged somehow, you are prepared, because in resiliency you don't just try to keep the threat away. You're preparing for the moment when this doesn't work anymore, when the damage is done. You know what to do, how to recover, how to kick out the bad guys and isolate us. And so this entire life cycle of a problem or of a disaster is resiliency. And we work on cyber physical resiliency, so that both from the physical side, the system is made very, very robust, but also from the cyber part, so that it's not easy to hack it, but even if then we have ways to find them and to recover quickly. So this is a fantastic, super complex topic that we are working on.
Really amazing and wonderful and exciting as well. Right. So, Peter, how do you see the integration of renewable energy sources impacting the future of our energy systems? And what role do digital technologies play in this transition?
Mhm. Well, I think renewables are non-negotiable. They are just winning. If you want to invest your pension fund in something, better not do it in fossil fuel. Renewables is just the ground truth. It will work. The sun will shine tomorrow again, and the wind blows day and night. So this is one of the few reliable things that we have in life. And in the Netherlands, where I'm based, is a special case. Most countries have hydroelectric power stations. They have some rivers where you place a hydro plant, and they are fantastic. They are really great. You build them, and they run day and night, and they are green. There are no emissions. You just need a little dam, and that's it. This is also renewable, and it's very, very reliable. The Netherlands doesn't have that. Why is that, you could ask? Because our rivers have negative energy. We are below sea level. We have to pump them out. So we add electricity to our rivers to get rid of them. It's not the other way around, that we would draw electricity out of it with a power station. So this is not an option. And so we don't have the benefit of these reliable, rock solid, big power stations that every other country has. So we are now in the situation that we are forced, we are doomed to work with 100% renewable energy mix from wind and solar only. This sounds like a bit of a disadvantage, but on the other hand, most other countries will come to that point sooner or later, because their rivers are already full with power stations. You cannot build more, so growth cannot be covered with it, and the water gets less and less because of global warming. So the renewables from the hydros are limited, and the demand is growing, so they will hit that situation maybe 10, 20 years later. We are now forced to pioneer this situation where you completely rely on wind and solar. And it reminds me a bit of Sweden and Finland when they were introducing the telephone system. They had long distances to bridge, so they couldn't lay a cable. This is why they pioneered wireless radio. So Nokia, Ericsson, that comes from that time. That's why they were leading for decades in that technology, because they had to. So I guess the Netherlands might be leading in wind and solar because we have to. That also forces us to come up with a system that is very smart, very flexible, because these renewables require that. We need storage. We need storage from day to night. The sun doesn't shine in the night. We recently found out. We get lots of solar energy in the summer, but we don't need it. The electricity prices in summer will very likely be negative very soon. There will be too much electricity and nobody will want it. So there will be negative prices for electricity. Imagine that. It already happens every summer for a few hours, but this will be the standard in the future. So we have to store it in the summer and bring it to the winter. So the day-night storage can be batteries and I don't know, flywheels and these things. But between summer and winter, we need synthetic fuels. So we have to convert that into hydrogen or into methane and then store it in steel tanks or in old gas caverns in the ground. And all these things need planning, forecasting, smartness, coordination with smart laws and so forth. So I'm here at the right in the right location. We get lots of support from the sectors, from the electricity companies. Everybody that is involved sees that coming and supports research, supports the startup companies that are working on that. And I truly believe it will work. I'm very optimistic. There is a bit of investment, of course, but we have invested gazillions into coal and gas plants in the past, and then they ruin our planet. The investments that we do now is an investment into the future.
Exactly. Super amazing and, super economical, super cheap, and super affordable. And, while you were talking, I was thinking, since electricity in my country is a bit expensive, so I was thinking I wish I could be in the Netherlands. All right. So, Peter, can you share some examples of advanced models, methods, or tools that are instrumental in shaping the future of energy sector, particularly in ensuring sustainability?
Mhm. Um, Most things we do is heavily um, connected to modeling. Now, this is what scientists do. We try to either find a formula or some other code or something, this description of reality that we can then use to understand reality or to forecast reality and so forth. This is what modeling is for. And what we now um, work on in several projects, small ones and big ones, local ones and international ones, is digital twinning. This is a terrible buzzword, of course. Everybody does digital twins nowadays. But behind the hype is a fantastic concept. It's a model, yes, that's in the core of the twin. You have usually a numerical description of your problem that you would like to mimic. But it's an entire workflow of how is the twin created, so the entire life cycle. How do you define it? How do you find out the parameters? How do you update them? So there's data flowing in from the real world into that twin ecosystem, and then you get data out, maybe decision support or analytical insight into something that you don't understand anymore with your plain eye. We have very, very, very complex problems that we cannot forecast anymore. There is complexity. It's not complicated, it's complex. It's really mathematical complexity. You change something somewhere and you have an effect somewhere else that you would not guess in the first place. So this is what we slowly get with the power system. And we don't want that. And we use these digital twins to find out why is this? How can we ramp up our mathematical methods, our analytical capabilities to describe these new types of systems. So this digital twin topic is very, very hot right now, and we are we are leading several projects here in this direction. Connected to it is a similar um, yeah, method, and that is multi-domain models. That means we are not only describing, for instance, the electricity system, we are also describing maybe a heat network, an energy market, and a supply chain of something, and how these systems interact. Then you get systems of systems. That's unfortunately another thing that is complex. You have phenomena that are bizarre, that you can't foresee or that you can't describe on the back of an envelope. Again, we need numerical support with supercomputers where we crunch them, these problems, we number crunch them. And that's needed for integrated energy. And this is also one of the puzzle pieces of the energy transformation. is that we have to connect heat and gas and electricity much more and much smarter, to get more reliability, more efficiency, more flexibility, and so forth. So this cross-domain power is not used now, but there is lots of positive potential there. And for this, you need these advanced multi-domain models.
All right. Peter, when we talk on innovation, especially the innovation where scientists are involved, like you, implementation has a lot of challenges. And people hate innovation. It's to sell because they have to change uh,
Yeah.
many things. So, what are the key challenges or obstacles in implementing these advanced models and technologies in real world energy systems, and how do you address them?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds familiar to me. Um, Lots of so a big chunk of this digital energy concept or idea is data driven. So you need data, you need measurements, you need all kinds of models to interpret the measurements and so forth. And that's one of the challenges. Where do you get the data from? Um, Data quality is an issue. Many of the measurements that we get from the real life energy system is sometimes unreliable. Sensors are installed wrongly. Sometimes you don't get data for a day and then it comes back. Um, it's noisy, it's distorted. So that is all data quality issues that we have to work with, because if you have a fantastic model or a fantastic formula to make decisions, but your assumption is that you have high quality, 100% accurate data with no gaps and no, then you will not be happy, because reality is not like this. Reality is much more fuzzy and distorted and so forth. So we need methods and we need tools that are by their nature, capable of working with that. So this is statistical models, fuzzy models that are much better in this. And that's also a new um, style for our students. We have to really educate them in a way that white box models, first principle models, where you know everything and you just calculate it down to the last digit of your numbers, is nice when you sit at home on your table, but in reality you have to work differently, and you need much more skills in statistical methods, in probabilities, in these kinds of things. So other sciences, the physicists are there already, I think. Yeah? All the quantum mechanics is statistical science. Yeah? They have accepted that already. They work with that. Yeah? They add two probability density functions and out comes something. And it's not really intuitive anymore, but it works. It works fantastically. And we need the same now for engineering. We have fuzzy systems, we have complex systems, we have distorted things, and we cannot work with these sharply cut methods anymore. We need statistical methods. So that is one challenge that we have to work on when it comes to data. Another aspect of data that we face is data ownership. Um, the power system is a very connected one. Um, Even the people in charge, the electricity company, does not own all the data. Some of the data belongs to their customers. Yeah. So everything that is behind the meter belongs to you. I cannot look inside your house as a grid company. Yeah? You might have data from your photovoltaic panels on your roof or from your electric vehicle. Oh, these things give you data, but I don't get it as a grid company. So we have to make agreements. Maybe you can sell it to me. Maybe you can rent it to me. There must be a data space and a market where the value that your data has can be maybe sold to me, because I use it to optimize my business, and then I'm also happy. So this is something we have to work on. In the European Union, they are now introducing this Digital Services Act and data spaces and data markets. That's a first step. Of course, this is a bureaucratic process, but there are real ideas behind it. The world now, where every object gets more and more smarter with Internet of Things and so forth, requires such a regulation so that people that own the data and people that would need the data for something useful can come together in a coordinated, safe and fair way. So that's the data obstacle, that we see in such smart energy system. Beside the data, there are gazillions of other things that we have to work on, safety and new materials that we have to develop for all these things. But I would leave it with the data for the time being.
All right. So, Peter, since you're telling that in your country, like you are creating a lot of energy, that in a certain season, you're telling that the prices are negative. So, when you have extra energy, surplus energy, do you also supply or export that energy to other countries, sell that energy?
Yeah. Europe is highly interconnected. That is good. You see that the moment you build a new transmission line, yeah, transmission line might cost, I don't know, €1 billion. It's really expensive. Yeah? The moment you build it from, I don't know, Belgium to Germany, yeah, you build a new line, immediately the prices go down, yeah, because everything gets more fluid, yeah, the markets, the prices go down and the efficiency goes up and the reliability goes up. So these investments are really good. Of course, you cannot make transmission lines everywhere. That's also not what we want. But the interconnection in Europe is a really good thing. And it's one of the important, because we always get the question, yeah, if you use renewables, what do you do during the night? And what if the wind doesn't blow? yeah, yeah. Then you need three things basically. Yeah, it's storage. Of course, you have to store. Then you need smartness. That helps you a lot with going down with the load a bit and following the generation patterns. So that's a second dimension that you have to take care. And the third one is strong connections to your neighbors. Because if the wind doesn't blow in my backyard, it will very likely blow somewhere else. So we can make a deal. And it happens all the time. Every country in Europe has a different strategy. So Germany and France, for instance, they trade energy over the year. In one season, it goes in one direction. The other season, it goes in the other direction. And for this, you need good interconnections. And that's luckily the case in Europe. I don't know how far this could go in global dimensions. There were ideas from China to build really big the electric Silk Roads between Asia and Europe. Sounds very interesting. I think if anybody could do that, it's China. Yeah, I agree with that. But it's a massive investment project, of course. I don't know if this will ever come true. But then they could sell the wind energy from China to the rest of the continent, yeah, to Europe and so forth.
that was that was really funny when you were telling that the people asked, okay, what would happen when there is no wind or there. So yeah, you are right that you have to save the energy. You need so that you could use that when there is no light. I mean, in the night, so you can use the saved energy. That's really good
Exactly. Yeah.
approach.
And as I
So
said, the wind
Peter,
always blows. We have here the North Sea.
yeah.
Yeah? Beside our country is the North Sea. It's very cold. It's not very funny to swim in, but it's shallow. You can build offshore wind farms relatively cheap. Yeah? And the wind blows day and night the entire year. This is a gift from God that we have that in front of our country. We just have to build more offshore wind farms, and the wind always blows, yeah? Also during the night.
Exactly. Peter, a question on a lighter note. I came to know that between the year 2016 and 20, the Trump administration tried to slow down the clean energy transition What do you think? Why did he try to do that?
You have to ask him or his spin doctors. Um, yeah, it's a political thing, of course. I guess there were some economic reasons. Every politician is, of course, under the influence of certain lobbies and certain groups that support him or her. Very likely, this was also the case there. And let's not forget, it's still business to pollute and exploit our planet. You know, you can still make quite some money with that, but that will stop. Renewables are unbeatable. They are so cheap and so quick to install compared to all other energy technologies. So if it's thermal power plants or nuclear power plants, this takes decades to build. A wind farm stands in 2 years. Yeah? So economic reasons might still work partially, yeah, that you can earn some money by not being green, but in the very soon future this will be over. So green is business, and I guess also people like Trump that might think a bit old-fashioned in this respect will wake up someday and say, okay, I can make more money on the green side. Let's go there. So I think this is unavoidable.
Exactly. So, Peter, how does the change in political leadership affect the ongoing process of energy transition? And what can the scientist community do if political influence, causes hindrances and halts in the scientific advancements and developments?
Yeah, maybe I'm a bit blessed here, but I'm not so worried about this. I believe you cannot stop the truth. Yeah, and the energy transition and renewable energies is ground truth. It's the science. If you do the maths, if you're not completely stupid, you'll find out. Yes, this works. This is the future. Everything else will not, because if you look at how the universe works, how the planet works, nature, nothing is not circular. Everything is circular. Everything is renewable. Everything is a circle. Huh? Natural balance everywhere. The only element that does not function like this is the humans. We want growth. Uh, every economic growth that is expressed in percent is exponential growth. And this is happening nowhere in this universe, because it's just not sustainable. So this is a truth that we slowly understand more and more. And in the energy sector, which is what I'm working in, it's most evident. We cannot just continue in burning fossil fuels, in causing climate change. This is just not possible. And the ways out of this, solar and wind and all these smart grids, if the USA doesn't do it, then somebody else will do it. If somebody, if the European Union decides to ignore it because we believe in something else suddenly, then China will build all the technology and will get rich with it. They will save the world. They will do the green tech and we will just buy it from them in the end because we need it. So that's when we wake up. I'm, of course, politics, political movements have an influence on the funding regime. So we as scientists, we depend on public money, on tenders, on funding programs where we apply and do our research then. And if you don't fund that, then we have a hard time. But right now, the support from the public, the citizens, and almost all political parties is there. So there's only a small fraction that believes in flat Earth and climate change doesn't exist, these kind of things. But that's not deciding. I think that the bulk of the people support the cause for transforming our energy system from the old one to another one that will keep us happy for the next 100 years. It has to be a different one. The old one will not make us happy. And as I said, if we don't do it, then somebody else will do it.
So right, Peter. Trust me, you talked so deep when you told that nobody can avoid the truth, and especially, yes, I agree that if something universe has decided something, if I and you will not do that, somebody else will. Amazing. Another question arises on electrical vehicles because of Tesla's pulling out of Europe because of the Digital Services Act. Do you think European regulations are justified and are rightly in place, or do you think those are hindering the technological advancements and progress?
Um, yeah, Europe and Brussels, they have a reputation for bureaucratic things. But honestly, I'm pretty proud of that. Um, the regulatory regime that is developed in Brussels, of course, it's not completely free of influence from economy and lobbies and so forth, but they are trying to do the right thing. And I don't think that Tesla will pull out. The, the Digital Services Act is a step in the right direction. We have to protect people. And this is maybe maybe Europe is in charge of that. We are expected to pioneer this. It will not happen in other places. Yeah, there is a different mindset. We have certain historical background, with the Enlightenment and the Renaissance, that freed our minds from other things that we had in the past. So this now continues, I think. And if you think I need freedom, like the stereotypical US attitude, I don't need no police. I have a big gun. I can protect myself. And that might be true uh, against some, I don't know, some robber that comes to your house. Maybe you can protect yourself with a gun, but you cannot protect yourself against data theft. You cannot protect yourself against the threats that we have in a connected digital society. You don't have the means for it. You don't have a gun that protects you in the digital space. And that's why smart people elaborate rules and certain borders that should not be crossed by companies that make business with your data, that maybe exploit you with data. And honestly, it's the job. It's the job of the politicians and to do that for us. So that's why we employ them. Basically, we pay their paychecks to do these things for us. Yeah? Because as an individual, you cannot do that. You need bigger support. And in the end, it's how we want to live. Yeah? We want to have digital services. We want to have an ecosystem that is free and where I can share things, but we also want to be protected from the potential baddies that can operate in these digital spaces, and that's what we have regulation for. And I remember the famous GDPR, the Data Protection Act. Everybody seems to hate it, yeah, because it led to cookie banners and I don't know what, which is super annoying. But in the end, it's an extremely powerful tool to keep evildoers controlled. Companies that go out of control in how they deal with our data, with our private data. Now the states, the general attorneys, they have now a tool in their hands to really hurt them, to really tell them, don't do that, give the data back, behave, otherwise we sue you to death. Yeah? This is implemented with the regulatory regime. And in the end, it leads to a situation where companies more and more behave. And that was exactly what we wanted. And I think with the Digital Services Act, it's similar. And I don't believe that Tesla will pull out. They will just comply with the rules that we have. And I'm pretty sure that other parts of the world, they look jealously on what we do here. And the moment they see it works, you can still drive your car. You still have a smart car that does all kinds of things, but you don't exploit it anymore. They will copy the Digital Services Act and implement it them in their country as well.
I definitely agree to you, Peter. I remember that because of the Data Protection Act of the Europe, I think Facebook has been fined a couple of times heavily.
Oh,
And yes, I agree. You told very important thing. I mean, if there is no regulation on a country or region level or whatever, then companies go out of control. They have a kind of monopoly, and also they manipulate and exploit, especially I mean, on the pricing and the data they have about you. Yes, agree. All right. So, Peter, in what ways do you collaborate with industry partners and other stakeholders to drive the implementation of intelligent cyber physical energy systems?
mm. Well, as a university, we do low TRL, so this is low technological readiness levels of technology. We don't do products. We don't implement things in the field. We do research. Um, there are other players, such as the national labs, that are a bit closer to industry and to the rollout. But still, we work with industry a lot. One of the instruments that we have is institutes. These are at the Technical University in Delft. They are cross-faculty, cross-department units that bring together different disciplines. Yeah? For instance, I'm leading an institute called PowerWeb that pulls together people from mechanical engineering, computer science, electrical, industrial design, aerospace, different experts, because the problems out there in the world, they are connected, they are broad, they have many aspects, and the problem owners, for instance, a municipality of Rotterdam, which is close by, or a ministry or a big company, they see the bigger picture, the entire spectrum of sub problems, and they want a holistic solution, a holistic view on it, which an individual professor cannot give them. We work in spectral lines where we're experts, but the rest is a mystery to us, which is why we pull together teams of departments and professors that speak the same language and that match this connected view that the stakeholders and the problem owners outside have. So with them, we go into lots of projects. Some of them are funded by the European Union or by national funding agency, National Science Foundation here in the Netherlands. But some projects are also directly paid by industry. So they sit together with us. We discuss a certain problem, make a project plan, what to investigate, and then we hire PhD students, postdocs. This is usually what we work with our students, and work on the solution. And some companies are very modern. They take the results and immediately implement it in products. That is the Silicon Valley thinking. Be fast, break things, learn. Others are more conservative, so they pick up the results and then they develop a product based on that. So this takes another 3 years and then it becomes a product and then they can use it. So we've seen it all, but we love working with industry. We need them because they really see the problems, sometimes much clearer than we do, because they are out there daily. They see the complexity and connectiveness of the individual parts in the energy system. And on the other side, they need us, yeah, because we have the latest fancy methods and we have smart students. So this is our secret weapon, our gem, our super creative young students. And together we can make a difference.
All right. So, Peter, how can the integration of digital energy technologies help in reducing carbon emissions and cope with the climate change?
Yeah, fighting climate change needs many things. This has to do with materials and circularity, how you run a country, how you educate people. In our case, the digital energy systems, the main benefit is it unlocks renewable energies. You can integrate more and more solar and wind and maybe other things. which you could not in a traditional power system. So all the flexibility and analytics and transparency and controls that you need to run these renewables properly so that you don't have a blackout within 5 minutes, that's done by digital technology. Additionally, of course, it helps with all the data. You see, where do you lose energy? If you have a large building, like a hospital or a school, if you have a few sensors in there and a bit of machine learning, you very quickly find out where you lose the money. Maybe the windows are not good, or maybe the heating system needs to be upgraded, or maybe it's used in the wrong way. So all these things surface out of the data. So that's a second aspect that you get. The more digital data points you have in your system, the more you know, the more you learn, and then you can improve things.
All right. So, Peter, what are the potential economic and environmental benefits of transitioning to digital energy systems on a global scale, not just locally?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, global is a good point. How much does it help is if we here in the Netherlands change things and the rest of the world doesn't. I think the good thing about digital technology is that it's easy to copy. Yeah, we work mainly with open source software. Even the things that we develop, even what is paid by the energy companies here, by the grid companies, they spend a lot of money on us, yeah? But in the end, the results are published for free. Everybody can use that, and that is a multiplier. So if it's useful for somebody in, I don't know, in Thailand or in Chile, they can just use it, and we share it. So that is one of the magic features of digital technology. You can easily send it around, share it, improve it, and the others can contribute. If the guys in Chile find out it can be improved, even our codes, then they check it in, and everybody benefits from that. So that is the nice thing. But digital has even more. It's beside these immediate improvements. It's really a transformation of a society. Yeah? It's this transparency and inclusivity that you have. Yeah? That's a bit romantic, of course. We have to be very careful. A digital transformation can also exclude people. By its nature, it's very inclusive. So everybody can participate. It doesn't cost much, yeah? And it works also somewhere in the jungle or in the desert. Yeah? That's there. But we still have to have the right regulatory regime that we don't exclude people, that the benefits that we can generate with it help everybody. So that's possible, but we have to take care of it. And the last big benefit of the digital energy system, also on global scale, is you're really prepared for the unknown. The moment you have your infrastructure, your energy sources, your storage, substations, your cables, your everything enabled with digital technology, it's easy to reconfigure. It's easy to adopt. The world is in permanent change. We have physical change with natural disasters, climate change. This will increase in the next years. Also here in Europe, we will have drastic changes. The climate here was rather stable, but now when the Mediterranean heats up, we will have hurricanes in the coming years. This is new. Guys in Louisiana know what a hurricane is, but in Europe nobody knows. But we will have them. So these things will come. Also in Pakistan, you have earthquakes and other natural disasters where you have to be able to repair and reconfigure the system very, very fast in order to supply the people with the required energy services. And with the digital energy system, this is much easier. Yeah, they can be reconfigured quickly, and even with mobile units and all these microgrids, that's a big thing. So you're prepared for the unknown. Also, geopolitical changes. We are in permanent change. This is quotes an interesting time. We have to be prepared for the unknown, and that's what the digital energy system is is naturally very good in.
All right. Peter, given your expertise, how do you see the role of artificial intelligence and machine learning evolving in the management and optimization of energy systems?
Yeah, as I already said in the beginning, this is it's maybe the largest subgroup that I have in my department is machine learning guys. They use it for many things, for the design of energy systems, planning, expansion planning. These are very, very complex problems and usually take days and months and all kinds of people involved and many, many numerical studies that take days to calculate. With machine learning, this goes in seconds. This is really fantastic. But as you correctly said, it really unfolds its power in operations. When you have to make decisions, um, it's like an autopilot in an aeroplane. You know, old aeroplanes where you could fly them yourself. Huh? The dynamics of an old Cessna or an old aeroplane was understandable by us. But a Homo sapiens brain was just enough to do that, and you could steer it. A modern aeroplane is impossible to be steered by a human. It does not work anymore. It's so complex and so weird in its dynamics that a computer steers it. So you have machine support, and the pilot in in the aeroplane just gives the direction where to go, and this will be similar with the power system. Now we have real pilots that make decisions and know everything. They are very, very skilled. Um, but two things are happening. First, these very, very skilled, typically gray-haired gentlemen in the control rooms, they retire soon. And at the same time, that the system changes into something that nobody will understand anymore. So we need intelligence in the field. We need distributed, self-organizing systems where most problems are fixed in the field before they are escalated into the control room. Because in the past, messages or alarms or reasons to react happened, I don't know, once in 5 hours. Then the guys were discussing what to do, and then they made a switching action. In the future, these messages will come in maybe in minutes or seconds. And there's no time to discuss anymore. There must be a machine that does it for them. And this is AI and machine learning. They will work together with these skilled persons, with the engineers, with the control people. They will not replace them. Yeah? It will be a coexistence, similar to a car manufacturing line where people and robots work together. I don't know if you have seen that. This is hilarious. The robot learns from the human, and the human learns from the robot, and they get it. They become a team. Yeah? We need the same thing in the control rooms and in the power systems, where people in the loop, maybe even you and me, we also interact with the power system somehow. Yeah? If you turn your thermostat or if you do other things, plug in your car, you interact with the power system. If we have machine learning here and there, small portions embedded, we can help each other. So the machines learn what we want and so forth. So this is one of the expectations that we have with machine learning. But as I said, machine learning has many applications, from design over planning, operations, and even analytics and post-mortem analysis. If something broke, we use machine learning everywhere. It's just a very, very powerful tool.
All right. I'm so happy to know that the problems that would be in the field would be, fixed even before, the control room knows. So I just want to clarify. Do you mean that just like we have a problem, for example, we have a minor problem in our body, and our body's immune system get that fixed automatically? Do you mean that?
Absolutely. We have a self-healing body in with limits. Yeah, there are other animals that are much better, like an octopus. I think gets a new arm if you cut one off. We don't have that, unfortunately. But at least our skin and a few other cells are renewing. Yeah, so over our lifetime, we renew all the cells, and we need similar bionic organic features in the power grid. So if things break, and things do break, they break every day. Yeah? Things get old, a tree hits a line, a squirrel crawls into some switchboard. So these things happen and will always happen. Now the consequences are sometimes disastrous, cascading effects, and then you have to drive there with the car and repair and blah blah blah. If we have a more agile and faster system, this is even more serious. Then we really need a system that can reconfigure and heal itself to a certain extent, yeah? And isolate the problem so that it doesn't spread out and cause more problems. So these are the things. Maybe we can even have some redundancies and some other yeah, structural investments that if a line breaks, there might be another one that we can use for at least 10 hours or something, a bit overloaded. Yeah, this gives us time to repair the other one. So these things have to be done, but it really requires lots of preparation, forecasting, model-driven planning and operations, because it requires lots of knowledge. Yeah? It's too much for humans. Considering all these cases and what could happen if this and this and this happens at the same time, not possible on pen and paper. We need AI, we need digital twins, we need machine learning for this. And that's one of the things that might bring us to a power system that is much more robust. So if things break, they don't lead to, because we have that now. Yeah? We had recently a substation on the Balkan with a problem, and that shock wave almost switched off entire lights in Europe. Yeah? It would really lead to a cascading effect that one problem leads to the next, and bum, 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 everything goes down, and then maybe it takes hours or days to switch on the lights again. In this case, it was contained because people were really fast. I think it was Italy and France that was so fast in their reactions that they stopped the shockwave. But if these things happen more often, we cannot rely on having the right guy at the right button to save the day. We need machine help that doesn't sleep and that always works.
All right. So, Peter, what potential risks and security concerns should be considered when implementing digital technologies in the energy sector, and how can they be mitigated?
Yeah, if you have the digital transformation of any sector, but in this case the energy sector, you can do it wrong. Yeah, then you get cybersecurity problems. You get non-inclusivity, and you may get complexity that things get bananas. It gets crazy and goes into states that you haven't foreseen. This is what happens when you do it wrong. Yeah? The answer is what to do is do it right. So you have to do it right. You have to work professionally, use the right tools, work with the right people that have experience with that. It's not a piece of cake. It's not easy. It does a lot of good things if you do it right. But if you make a mistake, you might regret it dearly. So that's one thing. And of course, it has many aspects. How to make a system cyber secure has many. There are many best practices how to do a zero trust system and isolate it and with reputation and so forth. But we can learn from other sectors like the banking system or defense systems, which have decades of experience in making systems secure. So that's one thing. You have to do it right. The second thing is life cycle aspects. In the energy sector, we think in decades. Yeah? If you install a transformer, it will work for 40 years, maybe 50. Yeah? In the digital world, this number doesn't even exist, 40 or 50 years. People don't know what that is. Everything is very fast paced. And that's a bit of a challenge. If you install a smart transformer with some software, with some smart box in the transformer, how do you make sure that in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, in 40 years, the software is still up to date? Security updates, protocol compatibility issues, It's like if you nowadays come with a floppy disk somewhere and say, "Oh, here is my photo. Can you print it out?" Nobody has a floppy disk drive anymore, and it's not so long ago. Yeah? So these things are a problem. We have to really think of how to do that. Maybe replace things in a certain life cycle management, that we put out the old technology and plug in the new one. Maybe we have to prepare our assets, our transformers and switches and so forth, for this kind of maintenance. We do maintain the assets now already. A transformer has oil inside, and we replace the oil from time to time. So there is a maintenance plan. Um, that's nothing new. So maybe we also have to have a digital maintenance plan, that we will do our software updates for a couple of years, but sooner or later we will have to tear out the entire box and put in a new box that basically does the same thing, but it speaks the new protocol, which will be something with, I don't know, quantum entanglement, for instance, yeah. But not what we have now with web services. So that is something that we have to solve, because it just doesn't fit together now, these different time scales of the digital world and the energy sector.
Super, super amazing. Peter, what would you advise to the aspiring scientists and engineers interested in contributing to the field of sustainable energy and digital energy technologies?
Well, first of all, I would say congratulations. This is the way. You picked the right topic. This is it. Yeah, we are saving the world. Yeah, you're the good ones. Yeah? You're the good guys. So that's the first message, I would say. We need much more people that go for it. It's fun. It's interesting. It's nerdy. It makes impact. And it's needed everywhere. The education on energy engineering is needed worldwide. You can go to any country and you will find a job immediately. I guess even if you go to outer space to another solar system, the people will need an energy engineer. The physics is the same everywhere. Um, so that's one thing. Please come study this. It's we need you. I see all the young people demonstrating and gluing themselves on the road to protest against climate change. Yeah, I'm happy. You have to protest. Politicians are not fast enough. I totally agree. But after gluing there, please come to our university and study electrical engineering, because that's the way how you can really have impact and save the world. Learn as much as you can. We need smart people. The world has lots of challenges, lots of complex things, decisions to be done. What is the truth? What is fake news? This is all big challenges that scientists are asked to be a bit of a stable factor, a trustworthy voice in this noise of opinions. Energy engineering was thought to be done. Yeah, it was. People thought this is done. We have developed everything we need. Now we learn this is absolutely not the case. We develop new materials, new crystals, new software, new machines, new structures, new algorithms, new markets, all at the same time. It would be natural and good if we would do this in the next 100 years, but we have to do it in the next 10 years. This is the bizarre thing. We have to be so fast. We need gazillions of money to invest in the energy transition, and we need an army of smart people to make it happen. So if somebody goes for this, young, how did you say, aspiring scientists and engineers, then yes, you're welcome. The world needs you. So congratulations on that choice of your career. That's what I would say.
All right. So, Peter, perhaps it would be the last question of our podcast. But first, let me tell you, the conversation with you was really, really insightful, and really enjoyed this episode with you.
Thanks.
Uh, since I am so exciting, I'm so fascinated by the quantum computing. So I'm asking this just on a sideline, a crazy question that just I asked in the start, that is it possible that energy could be transferred, without any wirelessly? So how do you, since The quantum computing is in its initial stages, and this is just beginning. How do you see the energy after 100 years when the quantum computing will
um,
fully
100 years is
emerged?
a lot of time. Um, I hope it will be basically free. Um, I see it as a human right. Energy enables businesses, safety, health, communication between people, and I hope that it's clean, safe, affordable, if not free, for everybody. Yeah, it should not be a privilege for the rich parts of the world. We should make technology that is so simple and so easy to make and to operate that everybody can afford it. That there is no um, difference anymore. There is no unbalance in this anymore. So that's what I hope. I think 100 years should be sufficient to achieve it. Renewable energy is one of the promising candidates for that, because the sun is everywhere, the wind is everywhere. So that is already a big chunk of the problems, because now the oil is just somewhere and the coal is just somewhere and it belongs to somebody. Wind and solar doesn't belong to anyone. So that is my hope. Um, um, if it's still all electric, I don't know. I'm an electrical engineer. I really believe this is a fantastic technology. It's the backbone of our society and will be more even in the future. But maybe, I don't know, as you said, this quantum magic, I don't know how we can transport energy in the future. Maybe we find something surprising that is even better than electricity and maybe hopefully safer or something like that. But honestly, energy is not, it, it's non-negotiable. If you have a certain amount of energy, if you have so many kilowatt hours or terawatt hours, if it's mechanical energy or chemical or electric, it needs respect. You cannot fool physics. Yeah, if you transport energy, it requires some serious infrastructure always, and I have a hard time believing that this could be solved somewhere else. But I'm happy to learn. I will observe things and maybe also develop things, but it's hard for me to say what happens in 100 years. But I'm pretty sure electricity will still be there in a large amount.
All right, Peter. Really, really thank you so much for joining the show, and thank you so much for your precious time. And I'm sure that my audience from the universities and from the business community, scientists, and other community, they will learn a lot out of this episode. Thank you so much for joining, and I would
My
request you
pleasure.
to just